Welcome, Sens Talk.
Here comes Sens with a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Mitchell Gray is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go Sens, go.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I'm your host. We have some breaking news today coming out of the nation's capital as the Ottawa Senators, or should I say the Belleville Senators, have made a couple of key additions to their hockey management group, as Matt Turek is the new general manager of the Belleville Senators, and specifically just the Belleville Senators. We'll get to that later. That's a very, very interesting, distinction. The previous general manager of the Belleville Senators was Ryan Bowness, who has left the organization. So obviously Matt Turek is filling that role, but Bowness was also the associate general manager of the Ottawa Senators. So while being the GM of the Belleville Senators, also was in an official capacity with the Ottawa Senators and their management group. Turek will be kind of in the same boat, but we don't know for sure yet. I'll get to that later. And another really interesting piece of this puzzle, I guess you can call it, is Sam Gagner, former Belleville Senator, brought in to be the director of player development. So welcome to Ottawa, Matt and Sam Gagner. Two very interesting hires. Now, before we get into what these two hirings mean and what to expect and everything in between, a couple of things. Firstly, on Monday, I had a great conversation with legendary voice of the Ottawa Senators, Dean Brown. It's over an hour 30 of literal Sens Talk, obviously, here at Sens Talk. So make sure to check out that interview. It was so much fun talking to Dean Brown yet again for the third time. 3 times he's been on the show. That's so awesome. And I had some off-season stuff planned literally for today, but we're going to push that to next week. So for next week's video, stay tuned for some stuff on some potential contract analysis and whatnot, and a preview as well of the off-season. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into the rest of the video, though, I just want to say thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring Sens Talk, as Sens Talk is proudly presented by Dylan Puckniak, Ottawa's exclusive realtor with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. Providing a bilingual real estate service that serves the Ottawa Gagner community, Dylan Puckniak is also specialized in supporting professional athletes that come and go in our city, providing service that takes care of the people at the highest level. For a realtor experience that puts you and your needs first, visit dylanpuckniak.kw.com. That is dylanpuckniak.kw.com to find out more today. So now let's talk about Matt Turek, the new Belleville Senators general manager. Gotta love this jersey, by the way. Honestly, so clean, so fresh. And we'll have some third jersey talk this offseason as well. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about it. We'll save that for later in the offseason, though, when we have less to talk about. But I do really want to see a red jersey back here in Ottawa, because this thing is beautiful. But anyways, let's talk with the newest Belleville Senators general manager, as it is Matt Turek. Now, obviously, not shockingly, Matt Turek has a connection to Steve Staios and Michael Anlauer and the Hamilton/Brantford Bulldogs. He was the general manager of the Bulldogs between 2022 and 2025. Also has been a part of the Bulldogs organization, and according to the Sens organization, was a key part of developing those championship teams in 2018 and 2022 of the OHL, for the championship in the OHL. So he has championship pedigree, so to speak. He also has experience with Michael Anlauer and Steve Staios. We know they love to bring in guys they know they're comfortable with and they can personally vouch for, and Matt Turek is certainly one of those. But I don't want people to think that this is just, here we go again, boys club. No, Matt Turek actually, and obviously this is not the draft, so there's not a standings on who the best prospects are. But Matt Turek has been a guy that's been seen for a while around the National Hockey League as a guy that can absolutely step in and be a very solid piece for any NHL team's management group. So Matt Turek obviously has that connection. Some people will be critical purely because of that, but this is a valuable asset to the Sens organization. Obviously, a guy that's proven he can build and develop, franchises with a lot of young talent, obviously. And most importantly, this is a guy that sooner rather than later was going to get into the National Hockey League scene. So why not be with the Ottawa Senators? He also has some scouting experience as well. Was a scout before for the Montreal Canadiens, also with the Bulldogs. So he has, of course, if you're a general manager, you have an eye for the game. Obviously, I would hope that would be the case. But it doesn't hurt that he has a scouting background as well, especially when he is the GM of the affiliate team, right? You're going to have a lot of younger guys down there. Obviously, guys like Sam Gagner as well are going to come around. But again, this is a guy that can scout out talent. So that will certainly help, especially, again, when, you're the GM of a AHL franchise. And again, specifically just the GM of the Belleville Senators. It will help to be able to scout out those younger, talented players, whether it's in college and you're signing them in free agency or whatnot. It will just help. So that's great to see. And most of all, again, I have to say this, when you have a guy like Matt Turek, who seemingly will be working, independently there in Belleville, for, Steve Stais and Michael Andlauer or whatever, to be able to trust him and, know that he's reliable and vouch for him and whatnot, goes a long way as well, because you don't want, the Sens GM to continually have to check in on Belleville. It should be some trust there, some, I don't want to call it chemistry because they're not playing hockey, but I think you get what I mean. So I think that's a positive, to be honest with you. And again, it's not like this is some schlep from nowhere that was a friend of, Steve Stais. This is a guy with a very good hockey resume, a very good hockey mind, a championship mind, and a guy that for a while has been seen as a guy that could definitely step into that next step into pro hockey. Now, in that press release by the Ottawa Senators, they did say, and I quote, he will oversee a player personnel role with the organization. I have a feeling maybe he's going to be, listed as the assistant general manager. And then Rob DeMeo will be the, associate general manager, basically taking over for Ryan Bowness, getting, a promotion, that being Rob DeMeo. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I would be shocked if Matt Turek is specifically just the Belleville Sens GM. It is possible, and I wouldn't be against it because, again, a little bit of independence wouldn't hurt. But also, if he's officially connected, to the Ottawa Senators organization in a management role, that would just be a little easier for, flow, right? So I would assume that's going to be the case. And Bonus's contract runs out here, I believe, in a month or so. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure they will quietly announce that he's the assistant GM or something like that as well. But Bruce Garriock does note that Rob DeMeo is expected to be the next associate or assistant general manager. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But he's expected basically to fill that role that Ryan Bonus has left. So wait and see on that for sure. But again, welcome to Ottawa, Matt. A nice acquisition there for the Sens and Belleville Sens organization. It never hurts to add hockey minds, that is for sure. Now, we're in the off-season, if you couldn't tell. We're talking about management hiring, so obviously it's off-season time. And the guys in management, the hockey players, you and I, we're all playing golf. It is the off-season after all. And on that note, there's no better place to practice your swing than at The Bunker, Ottawa's premier golf simulator bar. As Sens Talk is brought to you by The Bunker, Ottawa's premier golf simulator bar. Whether you're working on your game or just looking for a fun outing with friends, The Bunker offers a welcoming atmosphere, knowledgeable staff, great drinks, and a top-tier golfing experience. Make sure to visit one of their 2 locations, either in the heart of the glebe or in the East End, just off the Anderson Road exit. Book your tee time today at golfbunker.ca. Now, the second part of the news is Sam Gagner coming back to Ottawa, technically. He signed a PTO this past year with the Belleville Senators, and in 19 games put up 10 points. He was actually not half bad. I thought there was a decent chance he might even get a 2-way contract to potentially would be a late, addition to the Sens and their playoff run. Obviously, that did not happen. But he has joined the Sens nonetheless, and I absolutely love this. Adding a guy with over 1,000 games of NHL experience to lead your player development department certainly does not hurt, especially when guys like Sean Donovan and Wade Redden are now gone and they're out of the organization in terms of player development. So, replacing 2 veterans with a veteran and a legend in his own right in Sam Gagner. 8-point player, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad. Not bad. Mr. 8 points in one night. Mr. Sam Gagner. So, obviously, just over 1,000 games, 1,043, 529 points total in his NHL career. So, again, this is a guy that knows how to get it done in the National Hockey League. This is a guy that's done it time and time again in the National Hockey League. He has literal records that have beaten out Wayne Gretzky, right? So, again, a legend, a guy that also, and, Liams Marchand and other guys pointed this out on Twitter, and it's a very good point. He played with all these players, basically, other than a handful that are in the OHL and whatnot, that are going to be developing, the ones that he's going to be overseeing. That's interesting. That gives Sam Gagner a true, unique look at the locker room, at the players, at the on and off the ice stuff. And speaking of on the ice, he was on the ice with these guys as well. So he has seen their strengths and weaknesses. Not just tape. He's been there. He has experienced it. But also in the room. Who's cool? Who's bad? Who's meshing well? Who's not really meshing well? These are lesser factors, but also, again, factors. We all know the Ottawa Senators care a lot about character. Is he a high character guy? Just because there's a new GM doesn't mean that's not the case still. We know hockey guys or hockey management guys, I should say, love character, and I think for good reason. Obviously, you don't want to bring in a schmuck, so that makes sense. But regardless, back to the main point with Sam Gagner, he has been in that locker room. He's been in that organization. He's been around these guys. So that will bring a very, very unique perspective to this role. And I think this can be a very, 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 very sneaky good hire for the Ottawa Senators, purely because I think Sam Gagner, and many people in NHL media have noted that he's a great communicator. I think Sam Gagner has a future as an executive in the National Hockey League, more so than he is right now. I think GM is certainly not out of the question. When you're a great communicator, you've got a good hockey mind, you've got a passion for it, you've done it, you're an established veteran that's had a very, very good career. Just under 200 goals, 197, by the way, in 17 years in the National Hockey League. I mean, people are going to take notice of that. They're going to take you seriously. They're going to know that you know what you're talking about. And most of all, again, communication is key in these type of roles. So you put that all together, and I think you have a nice little management prospect right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be very, very honest with you. Again, I can't say it enough. For Belleville, for Ottawa, for our prospects throughout the leagues around the world, this is just a great hiring because, again, losing Wade Redden and Sean Donovan, you needed to bring in a big player to replace those two guys, and they did just that. So welcome to Ottawa, Sam Gagner and Matt Turek. And again, look, I know you're probably thinking, well, these are minor moves. No. And especially with Sam Gagner, no, they're not. That cannot be farther from the truth. Sam Gagner is going to help develop the next generation of Sens players, the future stars that we're going to be cheering for. And Matt Turek is going to put that team together to help develop those guys before they get to the final step here in Ottawa. So very, very important. Now, before I continue on, I just want to say thank you to Keep Smoked Meats for sponsoring this video. As Sens Talk is brought to you by Keep Smoked Meats, the best smoked meat in the Ottawa area. During a process that takes over 150 hours while using the highest grade beef, Keep Smoked Meats smokes their meat on top of a mix of Southern American charcoal and Keep signature flavored wood chips, leaving you with a savory Montreal-inspired smoked meat. But the best part, getting it is so easy. Just go to keepsmokedmeats.com, find the smoked meat package you're looking for, press order, and boom! Within days, you'll have freshly made, locally produced smoked meat dropped off right at your doorstep. So check out keepsmokedmeats.com for the best tasting smoked meat experience in Ottawa today. Now with that, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What you think about these hirings. I love them because, again, I think you're bringing in two guys with good experience and more so with a lot of room to grow within the organization. And once again, it does not hurt to have even more hockey minds to help insulate what already is a very solid management group. What I will say, though, is I do hope we bring in more scouts, and I would expect that after this draft. I mean, at this point, it's a little late, obviously. But I think, after the draft, you'll see some scouts brought in. Specifically, I will say, in Europe. We don't have a lot of scouts there in Europe. We need to add to that pool. That was a massive issue under the last, ownership. So I would expect that to change, but that is just something I wanted to note. We had some scouts released when Steos took over. Some were replaced, but not all. So I would like to see at least all of them replaced, and then, of course, more even brought in. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And with that, I'll see you all on Monday for an off-season preview. With that, I'll see you all very, very soon. Go Sens, go.